Hello everyone, Scott here. I am at 𝗝cie𝗱 Partners HQ. We are at the Centre of Excellence. Delighted to be doing a live interview today. Really special one for me. Super excited about it because it is one of my fantastic team. This is Holden. I'm going to let Holden do an introduction. But Holden has joined our marketing team here. We're super excited to have him with us. Brings an amazing wealth of experience. If you guys are watching live, wherever you may be, please put your comments in. I can click them up, bring them on screen, and we can ask Holden some questions. Now, I've titled this Digital Marketing 101, but we're just going to explore a little bit about digital marketing, bring you guys some of the current trends. We're going to find out lots about Holden, lots about what he's going to be doing here at 𝗝cie𝗱, but bring you some secrets, hopefully add you guys some value. So, Holden, delighted to have you here. Firstly, what would you describe your job title as within 𝗝cie𝗱?
Yeah, I don't even think it's digital marketer. I think it's content creator. I think, a lot of marketing jobs are probably turning into that now. I think is the content creation side is so important. I'm also making a bunch of TikToks, YouTube videos, and kind of looking at the trends of that, but also helping out the newsletters. So I guess you could kind of say I'm a jack of all trades here, but also I'll do some presenting as well on the podcast. So I'll sometimes be the fill-in host when you're away. So, but yeah, I would just say probably a content creator if you had to put it down.
Holden's been very modest by saying fill-in host. He will be doing a much better job than me at the 𝗝cie Talk interviews. We'll cover that later. I remember interviewing you, Milo, the head of the marketing department, and we're just like, wow, this guy's absolutely amazing, and we need to keep it for, we definitely need to get you as part of 𝗝cie. So the job interview was probably, the job title we advertised for was probably very wide-ranging, maybe content creator, digital marketer. But as Holden says, we're going to explore this. He's going to do it much more articulately and focused than me. So we'll come in. I've got some questions I want to ask, guys. If you're watching live, please pop them in. We will bring them over. But I want to start a little bit about yourself, because if you've heard, it isn't a strong Glaswegian accent, slightly different accent over from America. So firstly, let's explore that and tell us a little bit about yourself. And you're now in Scotland. You're at the 𝗝cie Partners Centre of Excellence here in Glasgow. Why make the jump from America to Glasgow?
Yeah,
specifically of all places.
It's the most cliche answer you're going to find is just, it's all about a girl. Studied abroad from a university called Baldwin Wallace University near Cleveland, Ohio. It's kind of a Passover state, so you might not have heard of Ohio unless it's from the memes. I met a girl at York St. John University in York. We kind of hit it off, but then COVID happened. However, Brexit was kind of, weirdly enough, an opportunity for me, because they were bringing back the scheme where if you get a degree from a university in either Scotland or England, wherever in the United Kingdom, you get to live here for 2 years on the house. So I completed my master's degree after COVID ended in 2021 at Southampton. And with that, I majored in broadcasting, and then I decided that I wanted to live here for a couple of years. And the wife, so you're wondering if she's English, how did I come up to Scotland? She's lived in Alloa, which I'm told no one knows about where it is. It's a suburb of Stirling. So she lived there since she was 13. So I decided to move to Scotland. Now I've been there ever since 2022, I believe. So just kind of making my life here and kind of just doing the journey and everything, and being waken up by bagpipes at 8 in the morning, because I live next to a funeral parlor, and bagpipes are a big deal to a funeral parlor, I've noticed, in Scotland. Okay. So I've kind of done that. So but really like my journey. Kind of why did I even come to the UK at first besides a girl? I'm one of these Americans where I'm very proud of my heritage. You can call me not a starter from Scott, but a plastic patty, if you will. So I'm very proud of my Irish heritage. My family's very proud of their English heritage. And my great uncle actually was knighted by Queen Victoria. Wow. He was also the organ player for the York Minster. So I got to see his actual grave down in London. So that kind of really intrigued me to see my family heritage, and kind of haven't stopped since. So my mom wants me to have British grandbabies, but they might be Scottish instead. So, but yeah, I did that, and just been here ever since, and just trying to, make the most of this. So,
by the way, for you that don't know, a lot of people haven't heard of Alloa. It's a beautiful part of the world, just traditionally, I don't know, Scottish. I had some friends over, came over from kind of the Middle East, Israel area, and it's kind of like it's desert there. And my friend, when I studied Krav Maga, and we were at a gym at 𝗝cie, so I spent a whole month there, at just going to the same gym, learning self-defense. But someone, we'll say the Middle East, but Israel, very deserty, and does very, very rarely rains at some part. And they just stood at the door looking out at the 𝗁cie𝗱𝘆. And for an hour, and I said to, his name was Israel, I was like, Israel, what's so beautiful about this? And he's like, you don't appreciate it. And in Scotland, we have lots of rain, which means lots of greenery. And I don't think Scottish people appreciate, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but we don't appreciate just how beautiful it is. And my friend came over for the first time and just stood looking out in 𝗝cie for an hour, and he came home at night and looked at fields and the 𝗁cie𝗱𝘆s and things that we take for granted. So a beautiful part of the world, definitely worth traveling 4,000 miles to get here. So
well, it's funny you say that. My friend in 𝗝cie that lives in 𝗝cie, she's our neighbor across the street. She works on an old, church that looks like it's from like the 1600s. And she says a couple Americans will go in there every so often and just like knock on the walls and be, man, you get to work in this. And all these, people from 𝗝cie are just like, oh, this is just everyday life. We don't care. But like to us, something from the 1800s is like ancient. So it's really cool to actually see all these old buildings. Like you said, you got the hills, you can go hiking and everything like that. So I feel like you guys do take it for granted, but it's nice when I'm here as a foreigner, I can kind of explore that stuff. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
We take it for granted. So we'll come back to the US. And we actually did a lot of the interviews. This is our podcast studio, but in the kind of quiet room where I did the interviews for your position. And as you might imagine, putting on a very generic, broad statement of content creator, digital marketing, job opportunity here in Glasgow, Scotland's biggest city. We got hundreds and hundreds of applicants. One thing that stood out for me is when we do a little bit of research on candidates and put them through who's going to the next stage, is actually you were presenting stuff for which, and I was like, this guy is not just a digital marketer. He was in front of the camera doing some documentaries and some presenting. So I did a little bit of research about that. This was the Paralympics. Tell us about that, because that's one of the reasons we definitely put you through and got this opportunity for you to be here. But I found seeing those things online amazing. So tell us about that, what you did there.
Yeah, so I'll kind of talk about my journey, because if you didn't know me and you see me walking down the street, you'd think I'm a normal guy, but I actually have cerebral palsy. I have a very mild condition, and kind of what that is just kind of a muscle deformity. There's something in my head where basically my motor skills aren't working on one side of my brain. It was just because a umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck when I was little. But never stopped me. Played baseball, played American football growing up. I ran track and field, ran cross country as well. Did some other sports, but those are my main ones. So found out about the Paralympics, funny enough, actually, when the 2012 Paralympics came about, because Princess Kate, and I forget the other one, William or whatever, they were actually went down to the field, or the track and field, were actually like shaking hands with some of the athletes and stuff like that. Down in London, where West Ham is at. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I learned about it, and I was running a little bit, and then I got actually really good at this whole Paralympic track and field stuff. So I went to uni, to a Division III school. That's kind of a ranking system for different athletics. Did that for a bit, and actually got an offer to go run at the Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista, California. It wasn't just for the Paralympic, to be a residency. I actually turned it down because I'm really big into my grades. My mom would kill me if I didn't graduate in 4 years and all that. So one of my regrets in life, but I think there's a part to that story I'll tell later on that I think I can redeem myself. So did that, and then actually got to run at US trials in 2016, just to try to get on Team USA. Was, I think, ranked 9th in the world at the time, actually, with my numbers, but it's not that easy actually to run for the Paralympics. They use some crazy algorithm, because they basically want to see who's going to be able to medal at that event.
Yeah.
And even though my times are good for me to actually run in that event, they didn't pick me because I didn't have those nearer times. But that was a really cool experience running at the US trials. It was in North Carolina. It was actually a blue track, which was really cool. But the really interesting thing about the Paralympics is, people don't know this, 2 people could actually break a world record in the same race. because of that is because we're actually running against different categories. So I was in a cerebral palsy category for mild cerebral palsy, but also I'm running against people that might have autism, that might have a missing limb, stuff like that. Actually, the best runner I ever ran against was someone with autism. I think he was running like a 350 mile or something less than that, something crazy. He smoked me. So that was a really cool experience. I think the heat got to me that day a little bit as well. It's just so hot in North Carolina compared to Ohio. So I got to do that. I think because my grades were slipping a little bit at uni, I wanted to take time aside from track and field and just focus on my grades. But something I definitely want to possibly get back into because I'm 27. I know I only got so many prime years left. But okay, so going back to your main question, though, I like to just talk about the Paralympics because it's not well talked about. But I got my master's in broadcasting, and I said I really want to do something with the Paralympic movement because no one talks about it. I think it needs way more coverage than what it gets. And then my professors at Southampton were like, Holden, you are a credible person. You have cerebral palsy. You've been a Paralympian. You can ask these tough questions that not someone me, the just average white dude can, say. So I got to do that. And I focused on 2 Paralympians. One was a British athlete. His name's Nathan 𝗝cie. I think he's actually trying out for Team GB for the Paralympics, which is held later this month. So he was a wheelchair athlete and got to kind of understand his world a bit. And then for my final project, I got to actually interview the world record holder for category, Brittany Mason. She's on Team USA. So that was a really cool experience, and just talking to these different athletes, because again, I think they need to have a voice, and a lot of people don't give them a voice. And also, I think it was really big to me and Brittany has Bell's palsy and I have cerebral palsy, really similar conditions. But a lot of these athletes like her and I, that we might not have a noticeable physical condition. If you looked at us, they don't really get a lot of, I would say, media opportunities, sponsorship opportunities. A lot of times it's for people that have amputee legs or wheelchair athletes. And that's great. I want them to have that source. But I think for me, coming from my background, I think it's really important to give that attention to athletes that might just look like the normal Olympians. So that was kind of my story behind that, wanting to interview Brittany and stuff like that. So, and I've also had a unique background, not just in the Paralympics. I've got to do cricket. A lot of people thought that was surprising.
In America?
Yeah, or no, in the UK.
Oh, the UK,
yeah, my mom, because she comes from British heritage, wanted me to do cricket, but there's no cricket teams in Alaska. That's where I'm originally from. And she's like, all right, I'll do baseball. But I was like, okay, this is an opportunity where I can do a placement at Hampshire Cricket. So I took that up. And then I've got to do soccer, done nothing about these sports really, but presented. So I think I was really able to challenge myself. So that's what brought me to this opportunity, is like, you're not just doing digital marketing, but presenting as well. So I just like that aspect a lot.
Definitely. Now you can see when Holden started this with I may be stand-in presenter, that this is a baton I am happy to pass over to a much more experienced and professional and podcast interviewer and presenter. Now, you mentioned something that popped into my mind, and it was last night, and I didn't know we were going to be talking about the Paralympics and covering that. I was listening to an audiobook, and it was, if anybody's listened to Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, this was the kind of prerequisite to this, the laws of success. And one of them is that your definite chief aim. And this was a 6-7 hour audiobook. And in the last 30 minutes, it went off tangent. I was listening to it in the traffic home last night. Genuinely, it's a true story. And it was about Christopher Reeves that was had the horse riding accident, Superman. And him in his latter days, obviously, they said, you broke your spine, you'll never walk again. He's like, I don't like ultimatums, proving everybody wrong. But he was a champion for I would say just Paralympics, but for disabled people getting that exposure, especially in the Olympics as well. Everybody focuses on the superstars and the charismatic people, all the people at the other end of the spectrum. But Christopher Reeves, and it turns out that, if you remember, Christopher Reeves was known for being Superman, but actually if you look into his life and his biggest accomplishment, he was a Superman, not for being an actor, but he was actually a Superman for Paralympians' rights, research, stem cell research, and getting them exposure and recognition that they deserve. So that was him being a Superman for different reasons. And that, just when you said that, he was fighting for the same thing as you.
Really? Wow, I have to look him up.
A real life Superman. So Christopher Reeves was a Superman many years ago and had an accident that broke his spine. he went from being Superman in films to not being able to move in, wheelchair bound, and proved doctors wrong, but went on to be a massive advocate. And I love that story because he was a celebrity actor for being Superman, but he doesn't see that as his Superman as helping disabled people and raising awareness. So I digress there. Some comments coming in. He smoked me, love a new expression. Smoking people is probably slightly different here in the UK. Richard, a long-term thing, inspiring, interesting interview. Richard, it's just about to get a lot more interesting when we share some stuff. Here is somebody raindrops. Does Holden think the Paralympics are getting more exposure now than we've seen in past years? As we record this, the Olympics are on, and there's a reason why the Olympics at the moment are getting mass. It's all over my Facebook feeds. It was the boxing match, and we'll not go into that, but that got exposure because of different reasons. But do you think Paralympics are getting more exposure as time goes on?
Yeah, they definitely are. I forget the statistics on it. I used to know it in the back of my head being a marketer, but I know it has grown, since at least 2016 when I was getting really involved. I mean, you're seeing sellout crowds. I think before COVID happened, with affecting the Paralympics in 2020, I think they were like selling out arenas for track and field. And you just do a quick YouTube search too, just even from 2020, you'll see 55 million views, blah, 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 blah. So, it is getting that recognition. I think the biggest thing for me though, and I'm so happy to see it, especially at my dream school. I never got to go to it, but Michigan. So it's my family school back home, but is the big deal about having these universities back home have adaptive sports community programs, because I didn't have that opportunity. I had to run at D3 track, and that was actually a little bit overwhelming because, I was better than the girls, but I wasn't better than the top guys, so it was hard. I always kind of felt like I was in this middle ground, and that was really discouraging to honestly run against them, just because I didn't have that support. I didn't have that passion, because when you're running with people with a disability, you feel at home, you feel like you're at your niche. So I'm so happy to see, like, the University of Michigan creating an adaptive sports program. They're popping all over the US now. So just to have that exposure, I think is so big, because you're actually going to get more people involved with it, because a lot of Paralympians are people like me that want to get into it. They know nothing about it because it's just so new. I mean, the U.S. Olympic Committee is really trying to, have these kind of field days, if you will. We get to try out different sports in the Paralympics and stuff like that, and to move forward with it. So I definitely think it's growing. And like you said, I mean, the coverage for social media this year compared to 2020 is just ridiculous. I mean, there's a news story every day. We had the U.S. Gymnast that was just staring in the camera. They got coverage. We got my favorite, the Turkish guy that's just nonchalantly shooting a gun and get silver. I just can't believe how much is blowing up. Honestly, I did not think that. So I'm really excited now at the end of this month to see where the Paralympics is going to go, and just the coverage that we'll get. So to answer that question, I do think it's growing, which is good. So
the beautiful thing about that is that I've found is, if you take the Instagram thing with fitness influencers, and if we take it, gym training is a sideline here to frame it. Well, a lot of these people that are on Instagram and models that people feel insecure about are genetically gifted, whether that's women with thin bodies or guys with muscles. So the people that get these high-end exposure things are genetically gifted. And definitely, if you're looking at the Olympics, well, they would be genetically gifted in their particular field, whether that's a swimmer's body, like sprinting or marathon. So different body types lend to these things, and if they're genetically gifted and given opportunities, and it's a full-time job, then they can make careers and money out of it. Then that's, I'm not going to say it's easier, not downplaying any Olympic, but for Paralympians, it's probably never their first-time job. They're facing overwhelming odds and other physical and perhaps mental health issues as well. So it's a bigger, better achievement, and you just see things like how can blind people run round a track? Well, they've got somebody there, they make it work, and all these workarounds. So somebody running in a straight line and doing normal Olympics, well, there's definitely dedication to that. But Paralympics, I think, much harder challenge, much bigger achievement, and therefore it should get more coverage. So
the funny thing is too, is some of these times, sometimes with the Paralympics and the Olympics, like in 2016, I remember the blind race, or I don't really know the different categories between that, but I know they actually beat the time of the real Olympians in 2016. So that'll shock you even more. So basically, they should have been running in the Olympics. So It's crazy what you can see with some of the stories with Olympic or Paralympians. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Guys, you have tuned in for digital marketing. I've got a few more questions here. One more, because I want to continue your theme. I'm recording this from Glasgow in the UK, and with the privilege of kind of traveling all over the world, and not as much as a lot of people, but seeing different cultures and experience different things. And one of the things we look at when we are selecting people to come into 𝗝ło is diversity, experiencing different cultures and ways of looking at things. But you've had quite a, it's not just America, England and Scotland. You've been about as well and experienced other things. Tell us about your journey and the places you've been and visited as a digital marketer in your job so far.
Yeah, a really cool opportunity I had was with the World School Games. So what they kind of do is they bring over private schools that are international across the whole world. A lot of times it's American or British schools, just because we're both colonizers. We've both been around the world. So with that, they try to bring up, a mini Olympics or a mini basketball tournament, swim tournament. So it was really cool. I got to be somewhat of a presenter there, more of the digital marketing side, but I got to go to Dubai, got to go to Abu Dhabi. Yeah, that was really scary for me at first, as an American growing up the Iraq war and Afghanistan war. A lot of my family and friends were scared for me to go over there. And I was scared. I remember flying over Baghdad actually and looking at the map, just flying in. But it's a rich man's sandbox there, and it's a very interesting culture. I would definitely go back again. So I got to do that, just interviewing so many kids from so many different backgrounds, not just from Britain, and having those roots, but they could be coming from Australia, Asia, and they're all in these schools in Dubai. So that was really interesting. My next step is I got to go to Barcelona. And so in Barcelona, we did the World Football Cup, and I was able to actually bring schools through my marketing abilities to bring schools from Brazil. We had a school from South Korea, schools from Africa, like Tanzania, all these cool different cultures that you would want. We basically had a mini FIFA Cup in Barcelona. So that was a really cool privilege. And just the people you get to meet there. I mean, it's just so many backgrounds. I never thought I'd meet someone from every continent. I think I have a connection now from every continent in the world. And then, I've gotten to meet Olympians too that help sponsor the events. I forget his name, but he was the Britain's fastest man ever in the 100-meter. I got to speak to him, and then also, I forget her name, Molly Renshaw. She was a breaststroke diver or swimmer for the 2016 and 2020 Olympic Games, and got to interview her because we did an actual swim tournament at the London Aquatic Center, where it was the home of the 2012 Olympics. So it's just really cool. I think the thing that I get out of that the most, being a marketer, is you always gain new ideas from stuff. I mean, I can't tell you like how much I'm bringing to just working for you right now was a lot from that job, just because it was innovative. They're trying to use different, marketing tools across the board, because you're talking to so many different audiences. So I really recommend everyone. I know it's not for everyone to live, abroad forever, but I definitely think you should do it at least a year of your life or study abroad, because you'll learn so much,
Definitely.
So.
And that brings us back to Glasgow. You're not stuck in Glasgow with other people and the digital marketing thing. So let's crack on with digital marketing. I want to start with AI. Was down in Birmingham at an AI convention last week. We've got lots of resources. The team are building some amazing things, and AI is a very broad term. Just let's start at the beginning with AI. How do you feel that that's transforming digital marketing this year and then moving on?
Yeah, I think a big thing for me is just the SEO standpoint. And I bring this into the marketing team a lot, and speaking to you about it sometimes. It's just, it's just changing the game when it comes to blog posts and written articles and stuff like that, because it doesn't take someone, with a big brain to just create a post up, put what they want in it, the keywords and stuff like that. So I see that there's kind of a fight with AI, is like, we have to adapt. And I think the best thing to do is make it very humanized.
Yeah. So
that approach is, using YouTube, using TikTok, having that human approach where you talk about your services, different experience and stuff like that. Because I think a human being is always going to trust another human rather than just seeing some article or I think everyone by now, it's been about a year and a half since AIs came out, or whatever. It's been a couple years that people are realizing what AI is. If an article is AI, you're seeing like just, it can use so many emojis and stuff like that. So again, I think that the key thing is obviously having that balance with different article posting and post that the different keywords that are trending in your topic and hitting those different, keywords to put in your articles. But I just think it's so crucial to make videos that talk about your product, because not only is it going to help you as a company, but it's going to inform viewers about your product more and your services, and it's going to help your sales team actually just make that pipeline journey so much easier, and you're probably going to get them on board faster, leading you to save money. That's something that I'm trying to get us to get to go there. And I think the other thing too is when it comes to the AI side of things, is just keeping up with the different trends and stuff like that. Because there's so many TikTok trends and everything going on, and AI can be a service to help you, find those different trends, find those different keywords, and make a video for your audience. So I think that's the biggest thing I see, is just that transition from blog writing to more video posting.
Nice. There's been different revolutions in the world, like the industrial revolution and the agricultural revolution, and the motor car would take away horses, and motorized plows would take away physical people, and word processors and computers would take away physical typers. Is AI just going to destroy lots of jobs, do you think, and make 90% of people redundant, because AI can essentially do it better than a human?
Yeah,
in a lot of instances.
I think it's interesting because everyone has their different point. I'm going to be honest. I think if you were talking to me at 50 years old, I'm probably not going to be working in, marketing, at least the content creation side, because I don't know. I see it evolving so much. Again, people are always going to want someone behind the camera, but I think it is going to be interesting. And I know you went to that convention earlier last week, and they're talking about how it's not going to replace people so much, but people are going to have to adapt. And I do think that's interesting, the point where, is it really going to take someone with a bachelor's degree to, run these systems and all that? Is it just going to take some Joe Small off the street that you could pay minimum wage to do this? So I think that's the interesting thing. I do think it's going to be a long time if it does take, marketing jobs over and stuff like that. Cause the quality that it's putting out right now is not that great. It's getting better every year, but with just AI images or writing. But I think at the end of the day, I do think it's going to get so advanced that it could replace marketing jobs. Do I think it's going to replace finance jobs and stuff like that? In my opinion, no, because I don't know. Do you really trust the robot to do all the numbers and not be double checked? So, yeah. So I just think when people ask that question, I definitely think it could go either way. We just don't know yet.
It's incomprehensible what it's going to do.
Yeah.
I have the way I look at AI and what it's going to do in the future. I'll make the comparison. If you're trying to teach an ant or a rat algebra, it physically can't. You can't teach its brain, can't comprehend algebra or space travel, because it's a rat or an ant. And I think that's the way we are with AI. The human brain can't comprehend machine language and the level that it's going to evolve to and the speed that it's going to work. So that's my rationalization of shit. How can the human brain articulate how powerful that's going to be? Well, we couldn't articulate German or French or algebra to a rat, and that's just how far down the food chain we are.
Exactly.
Computer process and quantum and stuff. We could talk all day about AI. I could talk all week about AI. Some of the trends. One of the things for me, bringing people into 𝗶𝗆, especially for serviced accommodation, and our goals in the business, is identifying trends, being ahead of trends. AI is one of them. We're building some amazing bits of kit out there. I think we will be industry leading in the serviced accommodation sector of what our team are doing for certain segments. But general digital marketing, what's some trends? Because people are moving away from long form content, YouTube, to shorts, to Facebook posts, to reels, and as Gary V says in his new book, Day Trading Attention, the TikTokification of social media. So what's some of the new trends that are emerging that viewers would like to go and look at?
Yeah, it's funny actually you bring up Gary V, because one of the guys I really follow, he used to work for Gary V. He does a lot of I think YouTube stuff now and TikTok, something Benjamin, can't think of his first name. But I follow him really closely, and then other articles I look at. And I think the big thing is just with the social media algorithms is they're all a little bit different, but they're all a little bit of the same, So for example, let's start with Instagram. They kind of have a Vine, going way back with the app Vine. They kind of have that philosophy where they want to just have videos 5 to 10 seconds. They don't want it over. They're not going to push it out. You have to think this is an algorithm where it's a math equation. And I feel like there's so many different parts of the equation. You're never going to understand it completely, but as a marketer, you try your best to get as much as you can. And I think with that, SEO is such a key part too, because you could have the 5-10 minute or 5-10 second video, but you also need to find what's trending. Taking videos that have already been posted and that have trended and got a lot of views in the last couple of days, you should just basically, like Gary V's guy said, just copy and paste the title, change it up a little bit, because people are going to be searching that topic. It's still going to be trending. Obviously, go in the back end of the a site like Instagram and just see the settings and make sure it's tailored to you, because I know they're all different. And then let's just go to the big one here, TikTok, kind of YouTube. With TikTok, it's the same thing, looking at the different trends with the SEO, but TikTok's different. They want to have you be on for over a minute. They want you as long as you can. So you have a longer video. It might promote it out faster, which I do think is interesting, because that's the theory behind it. But I just got a little clip that just went viral for 87,000 views, and it was about 10 seconds. It was just making fun of how you guys make popcorn in Scotland compared to America.
I'm laughing at this because I made that content that I liked that was over a minute, that was fucking valuable quality content, and I got 1,000 views, and Holden does a 10-second clip, and it's 87 times more interesting than me, apparently. But that's the way the world goes. There's some value, there's some things that would make you money, and there's a business tip, there's a service accommodation tip that my 20 years in the industry will bring you. Nowhere near as much exposure as a little bit of fun and whatever's trending. So that knowledge that Holden brings there, doesn't matter how much knowledge I have industry wise, nobody's ever going to see that if you're not doing these trends and what, just a word, a hashtag, or catching something at the right time. Just mind blowing.
Exactly. And that's the thing too, that I see with a lot of brands, especially where you're going into an office that might have a more older generation, is that you really have to look at your social media as entertainment to people, but also informing them. Because I know the thing that we try to do is really inform our audience about property management, about holiday lets, all this stuff. That's good. The thing that's really important is making your audience laugh. I mean, the big thing right now with the whole green screen gift things and putting a joke on it, that's some of our strongest content. We're going with trends where we just had you do the Gen Z edit. And I heard you don't even understand what it is, but it got 1,000 views on TikTok, and it's got our most likes.
Stupid, making me look stupid gets more views than me giving out great advice.
Exactly.
That's my job in the business now, is just to get made fun of, to bark at the business. So.
But see, this is the thing that companies have to understand too. It's like, if you're making fun of yourself or making people laugh, it's going to trickle down, because people will follow you and you'll get the views and stuff like that in no time. So it's a big effect. I think the worst thing for companies right now, if they take anything from this, is just keeping it professional, dull. Let's say it's a finance company and they're just telling you the statistics and all that. It's like, no, you have to have fun with it. I think the one thing that I've really noticed just working from here, and it's really nice, is the creativity here isn't capped. I think a lot of organizations want to cap their creativity, like, again, to be professional, but also here, everyone in the marketing department seems like they have the same mindset. They want to have fun, but they also want to get to work. They also want to look at the key trends. So I think that's so big for a marketing department, if you're building one, is obviously got to have the culture there, and everyone's got to have that same goal and mindset and attitude. But the big thing is you can't cap creativity. You got to just try new things and see what works, So
I'm chuckling there because Holden's saying you need to have fun and have a little bit of a laugh. We've got that coming, guys. So if Holden's American and I'm Scottish, so we're just gonna have a little bit of fun with his accent there at the end. And he told me to do it.
Yes, I did.
If you go to the HR department, I've got a video, you told me to do it. Not just AI, I want to look at tools that small businesses can use. Amazing for efficiency, amazing for creativity, solves my dyslexia and bad spelling. And rather than saying what tools should your small businesses use, when you see these things online of how an AI tool, there's hundreds and it goes into thousands there's 1,000 versions of each thing, like calendars or AI generation or image generation or copywriting. There's thousands of apps and thousands of platforms been simultaneously developed to try and be the market leader. So I'm not going to ask what tools should people use in small business, especially in service accommodation, but what are some of the things that people are just missing out on? Because rather than individual software platforms or names, what's some of the things that people are missing in business when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, it shocks me, and maybe to marketers, they'll say, hold on, why are you even giving this advice? But it's true with the companies I worked at. So I like the whole idea of working for companies that are kind of in startup mode or entrepreneurship. And a lot of them don't have basic tools that are kind of AI related, but like a CMS, a content management system where, it'll save you time. And obviously in theory, you're supposed to make every different social media platform with different content, but sometimes when you're starting out, you're just trying to get a lot of content out to gain followers. But you'll see these companies try to just post on Instagram by itself, on TikTok by itself, on Facebook. It's like, no, you need to get a CMS tool that will help you with that. And a lot of these CMS tools, because you'll all be posting at once on different platforms, they'll have tools to help you with the writing side of things and stuff like that. So I think that's one that really shocks me. But I'll also say, use ChatGPT to your advantage as a company. Please do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you need to make it still have the voice of your company. And at the same time with that, it's about editing. It's about finding those different keywords. Let's say, we have a competitor out there putting their name into our article actually because it might drive that traffic into our website. And doing your research, you can't just copy and paste AI stuff. So I think it's with, use AI as a tool, but make sure you're eliminating it as well. And, the CMS tool, like I said, that's a big one. I think the other ones that are nice that people should kind of get into is like the YouTube snippet tool, where you can put a video out there. Like we were saying before, small videos is king now. If you can do that, it could cut it up itself and post it out there. So I think that's something that companies could really use in different things. So I think those are the three things I'd use if I was starting a company doing AI stuff.
Definitely. Well, I'm gonna put a comment up on screen. We
Yep.
can do a snippet here.
Yeah.
We'll put your the marketing team outside can put this into interaction. Richard said, Holden, if you ask me, cricket should be banned. Cricket, I agree, because it's not a real sport. It's made up. It isn't a sport. It's a kid's game. And if you can not play because of the rain, because it's sliding and you're scared you fall over, it's not a sport. If you're off for 6 months because you threw a ball and got a groin strain, and there's people boxing and doing MMA and getting real facial industries and fighting and running for hours and doing marathons and triathlons, real sports. But being off for 6 months because you threw a ball and got a groin strain, or you can't go because you don't like the weather, that's a kid's sport. So that's my opinion on cricket, and that's a lot. What's your opinion on cricket, Holden? Is it the same as mine and Richard's? Or
No, well, see, I never got to actually see a game down there, which was funny enough. Yeah, that's what I hear. And the games can last 3 days. In baseball, we think it lasts forever, but 9 innings. I think I just did a job because I was missing baseball a bit. But I don't know. I think, honestly, all British sports bore me. I'm not going to lie. The only sport that doesn't, I can tolerate on TV is rugby, because I love American football. I'm from the state that created professional football. So I guess I like that, but I'd probably go with you on that. What gets me is they have like lunchtime.
You've done nothing for 4 hours.
You literally get lunchtime between innings, and it's just like, that's really weird. So
there you go. We'll snippet that out and put good quality content. And we mentioned about you need to put actually good things into ChatGPT, which is a main one. There are others like Claude and all these other Google rivals. But on that AI course I was at, and I'll paraphrase what they said, it's like having a professional chef. If you give a professional chef shit ingredients, doesn't matter how good that chef is, you're going to get a bad meal. They can only do with what the ingredients you put in, and essentially AI is prompt based to a degree, to simplify it. And if you're putting crap prompts in, so moving on to marketing strategy around tools, you could essentially go to ChatGPT or whatever and put in, create me a digital marketing strategy for my industry, and it would probably pop out something okay. If you put good ingredients, give the chef good ingredients and really specify your prompt, and it might be 2 A4 pages of what you want that to do regards banging you out a marketing strategy. Probably AI could do that, but if we're not, or mixing a little bit of AI, i.e. general market knowledge, the whole world, and we're bringing it in and specialising it. Talked about marketing strategies and how businesses can actually make their own, and not just from putting a prompt in ChatGPT, because MD can do that.
Yeah, besides just that, if you're looking for resources and you don't have a big experience in marketing, there's a lot of great websites like, Hootsuite, Pardot, HubSpot. And you don't have to buy their services, but you can get like qualifications, and they'll teach you like little things about marketing. Obviously, it might be tailored more to their software, but I mean, I use them all the time for like our content calendar and stuff like that. They'll give you a free content calendar. I mean, that's going to save you so much time doing that, because that'll be a year out that you could put your content in. So I would say use little source resources like that, and following these people on LinkedIn, all that. They're always looking out for different things where there's new tools. I would say the other thing too is look up, YouTubers. I think a big thing how I've got my knowledge is from YouTubers when it's talking about SEO. They'll give you different strategies actually how to
Yeah.
talk to the AI system
Yeah.
as well. So if you're interested, but you don't have that marketing knowledge or background, they'll prompt the questions. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree in marketing, but that can help you settle a better strategy. Because I think one job that will never go away in 50 years is someone that's going to be able to talk to AI. I think
Yeah.
my old digital marketing professor said that's probably the biggest job that's growing right now is chief AI officer, which is crazy. But it's just you have to really be precise. I think a class that always helped me was taking just basic statistics because they showed you how that you have to have technical writing when you're writing out statistics because you don't want to falsify things. So it's just having that mindset when you're talking to AI thing like that is being so technical. I mean, I know I write in American English. I know AI does too. So just I always have to type in UK English and all that. It's like you have to do that every time, and you can get better results. But yeah, I would say if you're someone that's not big into AI, and that's fine. It's just really looking at those resources that some of the key digital marketing players, again, HubSpot, Hootsuite, you name it. There's 1,000 of them, but they will have resources and they will have nice articles, as well as just looking at different trends on when to post on social media and stuff like that. So I wouldn't just use one of those. I would really do my homework and try to find at least 3 or 5 and then create your own, marketing plan and kind of using those different resources because you don't just want one bit information because there's so many marketing strategies. I could do this job totally different than somebody else would. It's just what you bring to the table. And I think if you just really well round out your marketing plan and just doing research, that could really help out. And I will say one last tip, and I think it probably helped me get this job. I think my boss, Milo, was impressed by this. Is there's universities that will actually work with real clients. That's how I kind of got my start with digital marketing. I worked for a thing at Bolden University called Digital Marketing Clinic, and we were literally working with smaller entrepreneurs and stuff like that in the community, and they had no digital marketing presence. So it was a great opportunity to just create a whole plan for them, looking at the different tools, got to actually pitch plans in front of their CEO and some of the marketing people. So you got to really feel confident. So my point is look at universities as well. They might actually have some resources for you. And that stuff, it's probably a lot cheaper than hiring a marketing agency. And you're going to get people that are really hungry that want to get, dirty and get that marketing experience because they probably have none or they've only done an internship. So I think it's another great opportunity if you're looking to get some good advice.
And if you're a young kid that's got great experience, something to add value to a business, if you have nothing in your CV, you could probably go and do some great work, add some value, pop into a business. I'm not saying work for free, but you probably could get all that in your CV and you're good to go.
Exactly.
Cool. So Hope mentioned about one of the things that helped him get this job. One of the things that I liked was the broadcasting thing, because up to this point, everybody has their defined roles, and I did these interviews and tend to just jump on and talk a lot of nonsense. But as we've grown and matured as a company, I think now is the time to pass that over to a professional presenter. So we mentioned this at the start. We'll bring it back to the finish. You're going to be taking over we're going to call it the Pillow Talk podcast, just our interview series, speaking to amazing people in the property, service, accommodation industry, things about mindset, business, entrepreneurial, anything, health, fitness. But we're going to be passing that over to you. So I'd love just a minute on what you're going to be doing with that, who you'd like on, and just your thoughts about how you would take that forward.
Yeah, just speaking with the marketing team, once in a while, I'm going to be pulling you in here for the big property managers, because I don't know the whole lingo yet, but I'm getting used to it. But I think for me, just speaking with the marketing teams, we really want to get people that are more smaller organizations that are in property management, quality let, because I hear you say this, and I think it's true as we're all in this and together, in the property industry. So I think that's my big thing, is big people on like that, because as you can kind of see from my past experience, I love giving the little guy a voice, and I think that's for me, from my Paralympic background from here. And, I really want to show people that there's different backgrounds to this. I think what's really interesting about, this company so far is there's a big philanthropy aspect to it. In a lot of companies, they just want to act like they're working on Wall Street, or I'm going to become this next millionaire guru. And I think there's a lot of organizations like yours, you know, whether it's women's empowerment, from philanthropy, whatever, and just giving these people a different voice and to show that, you know, there's a different avenue to working at a different company, not just some corporate company, to get into property management and, you know, and show that it is another entrepreneurial role for people. So I think that's the voice I want to give to people and just bring them on here. So that's kind of my goal.
Guys, I didn't know the answer to that because I said to him, well, I'll pass this over. You do what you want, not you do what you want with it, but I'm going to leave it open and I'm not going to get involved, and I'm going to give you kind of artistic creation or the direction. You can do what you want. So I'm glad that you said that. Fantastic. Guys, if you want to come on to the podcast with Holden, going to be much better on than me. I'm just jumping on and asking random questions. Holden's a true professional here, behind the scenes and in front of the camera as well. So if you want to give some knowledge, help other people come together. As I always say in the back of all our stuff, stronger together is our core value and principle. That culture in the business is stronger together. Right, I'm going to finish up here and I'm going to surprise Holden here because he did mention, and I will repeat this for the HR department when I start to take the piss out of Holden in a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of fun here. We've talked about Paralympics and achievement and Olympics and digital marketing and AI, pretty heavy stuff. I want to finish with some fun. So coming over to Scotland, sometimes Holden will be sitting and nodding, and then I can see his eyes where he's nodding. He has no idea what I am saying or the team are saying because we get excited and we're glad we're top 5 and he's no idea what we're saying. So I've got a little book here. It's the little book of 𝗝cie𝗱브𝘆 banter. So we're going to do some Scottish words. We have a little bit of a competition. Holden had these American aviators. I'm going to put these on. Holden's going to put his hat on, so he's going to put a classic bit of Scottish, a classic bit of Scottish dress wear here, which is, and this is your first test. Put that on your head with the ginger hair at the back, guys. And many people do say, I look like Tom Cruise, so now that I've got the aviators on. Right, so I've went through... We're going to have a little bit of fun. I went through the book of 𝗝cie𝗱브𝘆 banter. We are going to be taking some classic Scottish words and some lesser known Scottish words here. I'm going to get Holden to see if he can pronounce them properly. And then I'm going to see if Holden knows what they are. So the first one here, this hat here has a specific name, and it's called a "See You Jimmy" hat. So, see you, Jimmy.
See you, Jimmy. Okay, I thought you were saying a phrase earlier, not an actual word.
No, it's a
okay.
That's the name of a hat, like a beret or a top hat. That is a "See You, Jimmy" hat.
Okay, I just thought it was a Highland hat from the Highlands. Maybe I'm wrong.
So you need to say it, and if you're going for Glaswegian, it can't be softly spoken like the East Coast. It needs to be "See you, Jimmy." See you, Jimmy. So he's got a "See you, Jimmy" hat. The marketing team could screenshot that. So that's the first one, was a "See you, Jimmy." Right, so I'm going to go through some words from the book of Scottish and Glaswegian banter. See if you can pronounce it, and then see if you know what it means. We'll have a bit of fun. First word we're going to pop up here, I've written down "glaikit."
Glaikin.
Glaikit.
Glaikit.
Glaikit. What do you think glaikit means?
See, as an Alaskan, it sounds like something to do with a glacier, but I feel like I'm way off there because Scotland has no glaciers. So I don't know.
If somebody was in the office, been a mood hoover and just been down and negative all the time, that's glaikit. You're looking glaikit. So you're looking down and negative and, boring and always bringing people down. So glaikit is an expression of just looking glaikit. Just actually, I know these words, but the explanation I'm struggling with. A classic Scottish word here for you: bawbag.
Ballbag.
Bawbag.
Ballbag.
Bawbag.
Idiot.
We'll split it up into two. Yes, we do call people bawbags when they're idiots, but we'll split it up.
Ball.
Ball is the first part, so that's Scottish for ball, and bag is bag. So it's, what do you call it in America? A scrotum.
A scrotum. Yeah.
So calling people a ball bag.
You're nuts. I don't know.
The good thing about Glasgow banter is you can call people horrific words in a very aggressive tone, but it's meant as a term of endearment. So if we were out at lunch, who's that new American guy? Oh, it's just Holden. Don't worry, he's a ball bag. So that might seem insulting, but it's also a term of friendship. So that's the juxtaposition of the Glaswegian language. Is calling somebody a "see you next Tuesday" is he's a great "see you next Tuesday." And some people think that's very offensive, but it's actually that we love each other. So
Yeah, I keep getting called numpty a lot around here,
Numpty.
so I don't know about that
There
one.
you go, numpty. That's idiot. Next one is wanes.
Wanes.
Yeah.
Like waning, like you're going down.
So
Wanes.
wanes would be a collective term for children.
Oh,
So they call
okay.
children wains. Where's the wains? Get the wains in for the dinner. The wains in ball bags.
Wains.
Shout at the wains to stop with 𝗁cie𝗱. There we go. I got this idea from 𝘁cie𝗱𝘆. They follow us 𝘁cie𝗱𝘆. Bro.
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 No bro. Bro.
No. Bra. Strong.
Bra means beautiful. So
Oh.
say that's a bra lassie there.
No, I think of the brawny guy on the toilet paper back home, or yeah, I
Go
think it's
home to your wife today and say, "You're really bro, hen. You're
You're
really
really-
bro.
you're
And it
really
means you're
bro."
beautiful.
No, that just sounds too tough.
No,
That doesn't
bro.
sound pretty.
You're bro.
You're
So
bro.
something's bro means it's nice, it's beautiful. We're gonna go for lug.
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 Ooh, I'm gonna think that's an insult, like lug nut, like lug, like
You think
you're an idiot.
it's actually an ear.
Oh,
Lugs.
lugs.
Your lugs. Scunnered.
Scunned.
Scunnered.
Scunned. Ooh, scum. Something like
No, scunnered means, I need to say it, but I'm pissed off, I'm annoyed. So if I had to make you work at the weekend when it was your anniversary and you'd say, I'm scunnered, or your team lost at American football, or it's raining and you had a barbecue, you'd say, I'm scunnered today.
scunnered.
Scunnered. I'm just pissed off and down about something. I'm
Scunnered.
not annoyed, but I'm pissed off and down. And yeah, I'm scunnered.
I think I can remember that one.
Yeah, scunnered. Following on from scunnered, it's drich.
Okay. That,
Drich.
I can't remember.
Need a bit of phlegm. It's drich.
It's always about the rolling the R's with you guys. I can't.
So,
Drich.
drich, to do with weather.
Drich.
It's weather based.
Okay.
So what word?
Like
Drich.
dreary.
Drich. Yeah, it's
Ah.
raining, it's down. What's the weather like, Holden? I'm going to go for a walk. It's drich. You
Drich.
just need a coat. It's always drich in Scotland. So
Yes,
there
it
no,
is.
What's the weather like? It's drich.
You know what's funny though? Once you guys actually get sun, you go to vacation, you guys just bitch about it. You guys can't stand like hot weather, but you want it. I don't understand it.
So I'm going to, but it's not on my list, but it's definitely Glasgow banter. Taps off.
Taps off.
Taps off.
Boiling, right? No.
Yes.
Oh, I got that
there's
one.
A thing, and it's an unwritten rule in Scotland, but it's legal that as soon as there's sun, it could be February, could be December, it could be within 2 bouts of snow and frost, but if the sun comes out, Glaswegian men need to take their top off. It's law. It does not matter what time of year it is, doesn't matter when. As soon as there's sun, we say taps off, and you'll just see some absolute abominations walking down high streets with big bellies, and at any opportunity where we see sun, Scottish men will take their taps off. And
Taps
it's just
off.
like, there's the sun, taps off, and all Scottish men, and unfortunately a lot of Scottish women, take their tops off. So taps off is something you will hear this weekend. Haver,
Haver.
haver, or you're havering.
Yeah, like you're puking, right? Like
No, if you've been havering, remember the song 500 Miles?
yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm havering, I'm going to haver. So havering is just talking a lot of nonsense. Probably like this podcast, actually. Havering is just something.
Sounds like you're sick.
Yeah, haver. They're havering. They're just speaking a lot of nonsense and havering. It's hard to explain these. Next one is bowfin.
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 Talking nonsense. Boffin. You know, like you're boffing.
Bowfing. Be food related.
Oh
What would
man.
bowfin sound like? Bowfin. That food's bowfin.
Oh, horrible.
Horrible. So
Yeah.
it'd be like if it was what was that? What's that new restaurant like? It was bowfin.
Bowfin.
Somebody's fart would be bowfin in the office. I'm going to go, and this is a thing. This is a beverage. Bucky.
Okay. Wow, I've never heard of that.
Bucky.
Bucky.
Bucky. Bucky is a national drink. So if you go to Canada, it's maple syrup,
Yeah.
and maple leaves. If you go to Scotland, it's Bucky, which is short for Buckfast. It's tonic wine. Wreck the Hoosh juice, as they call it. So when you hear Bucky, I'm going to get a bottle of Bucky. You escape that situation. You avoid Andy that's had a bottle of Buck in them. If you hear Bucky, the tonic wine, Wreck the Hoosh juice, you want to exit from that group of people, because they will be fighting and they'll take their taps off. They will be havering, and there will be carnage will ensue when people are in Buckfast. It's tonic wine from down south. It's crazy, but for some reason, it's really Scottish. Bobby.
Bobby. That's just a name for Bobby, right? No.
It's a thing on the body.
Oh, okay. Is it what I'm thinking?
Probably is.
Yeah.
It's a podcast, but Bobby, you can make your things there. And the last one here, which I'm sure everybody is telling us to do, is whisht.
I've actually never heard of that one.
Whisht.
Wished.
Whisht.
You wished.
Oh, whisht.
You want something.
You tell it to the Waynes. You say it to the kids. Oh, whisht.
Nonsense.
No. It's telling them to be quiet.
Oh.
So hodger whisht is be quiet.
Sounds like you just want them to say wish. I wish you to do something.
Quite onomatopoeic. What's the thing that sounds like it is? So whisht is strong.
Wished.
Whisht. WHEESH I've written as. So I thought we'd have a bit of fun with the CU Jimmy Hat. We would look at some dialect words, guys. We're going to be doing this in a little bit more details. I think we'll come back to these words. We'll try and guess, and also I can correct Holden on words like Caribbean and Caribbean, aluminium and aluminum, and
caramel.
We'll do some linguistic work with the Queen's English here, or the King's English. King's English.
Yeah,
now.
King's. Yeah.
So guys, that has been we're just keeping under an hour there. That has been a little bit of fun. We brought in some Glaswegian dialect as well. So thank you to Holden for being an amazing sport. Going to be an amazing asset to 𝗝elle. Super happy he is here and chosen this as his home. And you're going to be hearing lots more from him and a lot less from me. So I'm going to be whishting. I'm going to be whishting. Holden's going to be havering, so we'll call him havering Holden because he just
still sounds like puke to me.
It's puking words.
Yeah,
that's what havering is. So you're half right, and you need to use your lugs to listen, and hopefully you'll know by scanning.
I don't know how you remember all this stuff.
Thank you very much, and thank you guys for your participation. If you are watching this live, thank you for your questions. If you're watching it on repeat or any of the clips and you have any questions for Holden, it doesn't need to be about digital marketing, AI. It can be about Paralympics, his journey, things in America, or what come in and see us, meet the marketing team behind the scenes, then please do. So thank you everyone for their participation. Fantastic as always, and I am looking forward to handing these over to Holden, who's going to be doing a fantastic job in the future. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Bye.